Hey, what's up, guys? Tuki here, back again with another episode of my Toronto Blue Jays franchise mode series right here on MLB The Show 18. Now, you're probably wondering, Tuki, why is it a freeze frame? Or you're asking yourself, why didn't I notice it was a freeze frame? That's kind of weird. Let me tell you what's going on. And the good thing is, the good news, don't worry, it's fine. It's good news. There aren't any tech issues. I will explain... I explain what happens later on, but I'll also explain it here, so get ready to hear what happened twice. The start of the episode, and by the start of the episode, I mean the first 50 minutes, turned out to be me trying to find trades, signing free agents, and stuff like that. There were some breaks in between, so the 50 minutes would have been cut down to like 40, but still, it was going to be a super long video of just trades. So I decided, screw it, let's go through, we'll just put up the screenshots of the trade that went through, and then we'll continue on from there. We'll sim up to the draft, and we go through the draft in this episode. So if I explain some of this stuff over in the second part of the video, basically what I did is I got to that 50-minute mark, and I'm like, shit, this isn't going to work. So from there, I kind of restarted the episode. So you'll see what I mean soon. Regardless, let's get to these trades so that we can get to the episode. As you can tell, it's a long episode anyway. We get to trade number 1, trying to find a deal for Russell Martin, also using Michael Silva, who we signed as a free agent. I believe he was like 21 years old, 49 overall with a potential, and using Lynn, who is our Rule 5 pickup. I did the whole find a trade feature, and Baltimore, in a very Baltimore way, offered us Michael Givens and Henry Murillo, who, if I'm not mistaken, was B potential. That's the one thing that you'll see probably later on in the episode. And some of the potentials might be lost, and I am going off of memory. But yeah, we ended up with Michael Givens for a 36-year-old catcher. So congratulations to Martin being reunited with Josh Donaldson. That brings me over to trade number 2, and it's a big one. Teoscar Hernandez, Logan Warmoth, and Doug Hernandez sent to Cleveland for catcher Francisco Maya. Now, Teoscar Hernandez, we had a bit of a log jam in the outfield. You'll see what our outfield ends up looking like. Logan Warmoth was one of 3 solid shortstop options, the weaker of the 3 shortstop options. And Doug Hernandez, as you can see on screen, somehow, a C potential. He's a good player with good power, and it kind of sucks to give him up, but this does solve our catching issues as we pick up Francisco Maya, 23 years old, A potential, and a 79 overall. So he is our new starting catcher. We had to give up a little bit to do it. I mean, Teoscar Hernandez was an A potential guy, but he was more of a defensive first kind of outfielder. The hitting was never really going to be there. So we went ahead and made that move. Trade number 3, again, it was one of the find a trade options. We moved Kevin Pillar as well as Roger Rorabaugh, who was B or A potential, I don't remember, but he was like a 51. Same with Fletcher Skaggs, like a 50 overall, someone who was never really going to make it, someone that we had basically to trade, and we made the most of it, acquiring Carl Edwards Jr. from the Chicago Cubs, who had a spectacular season last year. That's one of the things that's going to be lost on this, and I'm sorry, but hey, at least I saved you 40 minutes. He had a spectacular season, more than willing to accept this trade. And again, you'll see what our outfield looks like and why I ended up getting rid of Kevin Pillar. Spoiler alert, Grichuk's a better bat, and he and Pillar were the same overall. So that's why. Trade number 4, we acquire Denilson Lamet, which I'm probably butchering, for Devin Travis, Brad Brack, and Tony Sick. So, this trade, I went through, and this was one of the trades that caused this episode to be very long. I went through, I looked for every starter. I wanted to get Jake Arrieta from Philadelphia. He was a bit too expensive, so we settled on Denilson Lamet. Here's the one problem. He did not pitch at all in the previous season, so it's a pretty big risk, but obviously a solid option, 26B, 84 overall. Although that's not actually his overall. It drops. It's up to an 84 because of the morale. But we give up Devin Travis, who we didn't have room for. I decided to keep Tulo instead. We moved Brad Brack because the bullpen improves, which you'll see next. We had a little bit of a logjam with the bullpen anyway, but of course acquiring Givens and Edwards, it had already improved. So it made all the sense in the world to bring in some starting pitching. Trade number 5, we really bring in some pitching. We trade Hansel Robles, who we brought in through the Rule 5. We trade Josh Fields, who was a mid-round pickup in the trade deadline, just before the trade deadline, mid-round, mid-season pickup. For some reason, I was still thinking Rule 5. And we also trade Victor Mesa, one of the free agents we signed at the beginning of last year. However, he wants to be in a platoon role. He was only a mid to high 60 overall. It wasn't going to happen. So we made the most of his value, and we acquire Brad Hand and Phil Matone. So Brad Hand is an 88 overall. He combines now with Rivero and Doolittle to create one hell of a bullpen, as you will see. And that brings me to trade 6, where we flip Phil Matone and Carl Edwards Jr. to Philadelphia for Zach Eflin and Victor Arano. Edwards Jr., great season, but compared to the rest of the relievers that we have in the bullpen now, he was actually the worst option, and Phil Matone was just a tack on from an earlier trade. So those are all the moves. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to let my past self take over. I hope you enjoy the episode. And with all of that said, with you guys all caught up, let's get down to business. Trust me, I'm glad that I decided to go the jump cut route, because otherwise this video, and trust me, I know because this is all one recording and I'll go back and do the whole voiceover later, this video would have been 53 minutes up to this point had I not cut out the trades and just put it all into, hey, here you go, here's all the information that you need to know, style of mode. So with all of that said, I'm going to show you what this team looks like. I have gone ahead as well, and transactions, please. I have gone ahead and signed an ungodly amount of players. I accidentally skipped forward a day, too. Here, free agency. There you go. I've signed a crazy amount of players to help fill out the roster. But the point is, we are good to go. Our rotation, I am going to put Stroman up at first, but it's going to be Stroman, Sanchez, Alvarez, Lamet, again, probably butchering his name, and Chad Kuhl. I'm going to give him the start over Inoa throughout the spring training period. We have Hendricks, Hand, Rosenthal, Doolittle, Givens, and Rivero. For the main reason that Givens has 75, Clutch Hand has a 70. Again, we'll see just how well it works out for Hand and Givens there. But one thing I do like, yes, we only have righty starters. That could be a problem, but at least there's a little bit of diversity bullpen-wise. Again, worse comes to worse. We're struggling, and we decide that we want lefties. I'm down for moving, more than likely, Chad Kuhl and Michael Yanoa, moving them out for a lefty, and probably just calling up Biagini or Ramirez. Probably Biagini as the long reliever. So that's a built-in option that we have if we think the struggles might be due to us not having any lefty starters. We'll see how that goes. And then lineup-wise in the majors, I mean, at the moment, this is how it's shaping up. This might be what it looks like throughout the season. But, again, I like it. Peralta in left, Vlad Jr. at third, DJ LeMahieu, Justin Smoke, Polanco, Grichuk, Harrison, Maya, and Morales, potentially as the DH. Probably too low. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. This is how the team looked before. And actually here, you know what? If I sim a couple of days into spring training, we have 41-man. God damn it. See, that was the one downside. Some of the people I ended up signing for the 40-man ended up on the full roster. Jacob Gonzalez, why not? Let's remove you from the 40-man. If we lose you to waivers, whatever. I probably should have just sent down Sip, but it's fine. Let's just move forward a couple of days. I want to see what the lineup looks like. And to be honest, I'm not overly happy about it just because of Harrison. So at the start of the regular season, I might fix it, but Peralta, Guerrero, LeMahieu, Smoke, Polanco, Grichuk, Solarte, Tulo, and Maya. That's not bad. So you look at the major additions to this team that we've made in just one calendar year. Peralta's in, LeMahieu, Polanco, and Maya. I'm all right with it. I mean, again, the goal, like I've mentioned so many times already at this point, was to go for it. We're going for it. We still might not be there exactly, but there's no doubt, even within a calendar year, that this team is in better shape. So let's go ahead and sim to the start of the regular season. Of course, we're going to have to handle the scouting and all of that, and that's going to be a whole lot of fun, I'm sure, lineup-wise. It actually puts Sanchez in over Stroman. You know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, and it does put Brad Hand actually down there instead. You know what? I'll start off with that. I am going to switch over to manual for the moment, though. Solarte being in against righties makes sense. Is Harrison at least in against lefties, though? He's not. It brings in Morales, which also makes a ton of sense. But I do want Josh Harrison to play. Even though, I mean, he is 31. I don't know, maybe Harrison and Solarte just as amazing depth options makes sense. Kendrick Morales still has that ridiculous contact against lefties. You know what, the AI might be onto something. It might be onto something. And then, let's go ahead and change that back. Do I want to give the AI full control? Just in terms of, AAA and AA call-ups, it might make sense, but I don't really see that making a difference. I mean, the only way it would make sense is dropping someone down from AAA to AA. But you know what? I'm gonna leave that on manual. But we'll change these to auto, and we'll see how that goes. Armentero's not being in the lineup, Urena not being in the lineup. One of the things I'm worried about. But we'll test it out to start the year. So, in terms of scouting, last year we took the let's just scout everything approach, and we ended up with a fairly decent draft. This year, though, catcher, we're good for the future. It might be worth looking for first baseman, just infield in general. Vlad Jr.'s there, and that's all well and good. I don't know. Actually, now that I look at it, I think just the general approach is the way to go. So that is what we're going to do. There wasn't any better scouts available, unfortunately. At least not that I remember. I can double check, but yeah, we're pretty much good to go with who we have. The higher discovery rating for Ballard over Darden makes sense. East-wise, discovery is better, but I do like that they can look at position players. And in the West, actually, in fairness, I don't remember seeing Newcomb here. Probably worth getting rid of Sargent, although, yeah, that super low efficiency rating kills him. You know what, Sargent? Bobby Sargent, you're out of here, buddy. We're going to bring in Dante Newcomb. And then international-wise, the efficiency's high, discovery's a little bit low. Shelby Sherrill. Great name. We're not going to sign him up, though. All right, so that's taken care of. So in the East, you're good with everybody, so let's go pitchers, righty, clutch. You are good with only pitchers, so we'll go international, pitchers, righty, and clutch. You are terrible efficiency-wise. Discovery, you're okay, though. Pitcher, righty, clutch. And, aside from his awful efficiency, aside from Ballard, everyone can at least look at everybody, so that's good. So let's go ahead and move on. Game 1, Sanchez against Quintana, and it's an 8-4 loss. Sanchez gets the L. Good way to start the season. Nothing like losing your home, or your, I don't know, actually, yeah, that was a home opener and a season opener. Nothing like losing that first game, especially when you're talking about playoff aspirations. We dropped the first series of the season to Kansas City, not the end of the world, though, I suppose. So the game plan for this episode was, of course, to get the roster set. We'll also try to go through the draft as well, and we'll double-check the team and just the stats as we go along. I'm trying not to lose my focus and concentration, just making sure that we maximize the majority of our time. Yes, I know about training, game. Thank you. I'm a season into it. It's kind of a weird time to be like, hey, did you know about training? It's like, yeah, I did. Thank you. Appreciate the reminder, just in case you think I forgot. It's on auto, and it will continue to be. So we've taken 2 out of 3 against Boston so far. Let's go lefty command. Again, we're going for more of a generalized approach. Obviously, if we needed to find something... Hello, Robbie Brandt. We'll just go auto there. Obviously, if we needed to find something in particular, we just sit there and scout it out until we were good to go, and we had every bit of info that we needed. Let's go lefty command or lefty movement. Do I have every pitcher scouted? I don't. All right, so there we go. Did not want to hit play game either. Next 2 games against Tampa, and we lose the last 2. Good Lord. Nothing like a 10-7 loss. We're 6-7 on the year so far. We have velocity to worry about. Newcomb, I'm already worried about your ability to scout, but we'll see how it goes. We take game 1 against Baltimore. All right, so we finished the pitching assignments. Ham can scout whoever, so we will go to pitchers, and we will go arm strength and fielding. You cannot scout position players, so you will immediately start scouting pitchers. That's his role. Ballard is just going to be looking at individuals for the rest of this season. Ship, again, your efficiency is terrible, but we'll still have you scout, and we'll have Newcomb scout as well, arm strength and fielding, and there are no catchers. Interesting. So I guess we'll go fielding and speed? Yeah, fielding and speed. Why not for the infield? Tempted to go arm strength. That's such a weird setup that we have right now. Next 2 games against Baltimore, we complete the sweep. No, we don't. It was a 4-game series with the 4th game being on a Monday. That is incredibly weird and off-putting, but it is what it is, I suppose. Let's go power and contact. You will take a look at Aviles. You, if this wants to work, thank you. We'll take a look at power and contact, and you will take a look at, let's go contact and fielding. From there, we do not complete the sweep against Baltimore. This game loves to make a liar out of me, as all sports games do. That's good there for the power and contact. Let's go fielding and speed. You can take a look at Tom Mills. You can take a look at fielding and speed, my friend. And you can take a look at power and contact. It's a well-oiled machine. As we take 2 out of 3 against Cleveland, we're up to 11-9 on the season. Let's keep going, though. Just a straight shot to the draft. Let's go with... Oh, we did fielding and speed. Let's go arm strength and contact? Sure. You get to take a further look at Mills, because he might be something. Let's go arm strength and contact. And you get to go to the outfield, arm strength, and fielding. Beautiful. Let's keep moving on. 4-game series against the White Sox. I don't know why we keep having so many 4-game series with the final game on a Monday. It's just weird. I'm not used to it. Let's go power and contact. Tom Mills could be something special. The ETA, though, went further back, so that's something to keep an eye on. I'll have him scout Montanez. You can take a look at power and contact, and you can go speed and contact. So Newcomb's almost done with his scouting. We take 3 out of 4 against the White Sox. Not bad. We're starting to pick up a little bit of momentum. And let's see, we'll go outfield, arm strength, and fielding. You can continue to take a look at Montanez. Ship. Let's go outfield, arm strength, and fielding. And Newcomb will get to go power and contact. That's the last thing he has to do. And then he is good to go, as Chad Kuhl is out for 1 to 2 weeks. Not ideal. We might be able to survive without him, though. We could call somebody up, and probably should, for a long reliever. He is on the DL. This is where we're going to call up Biagini. He will get the call up. From there, I don't know why Howell's in AAA. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4 with Murin. 5 there. 6. Chavez to double. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 with Schaefer. So there we go. It's good to go. Scouting-wise, we'll be good to go now. So outfield, speed and contact. Pitching-wise, R.D. London. How have I just noticed the name of R.D. London? And also, Newcomb is now good to scout whoever. Let's continue to work. Let's continue to work on pitchers. Obviously, we need some starting pitching. He can take a look at pitchers. He's better with position players for sure, but he can take a look at pitchers, and I'm good with that. So let's see how that goes. Next 2 days, final game against the Yankees. We can't complete the sweep, but we did take 2 out of 3. We're up to 17-11 now on the season. Power and contact there. Sanchez, 4+ years away at 22. No thank you, but you can take a look at Barden, even though he's a little bit older. You get to go power and contact. So for Ship and Ham, it's the last few things that they have to look at. We'll continue to look at R.D. London. We'll go to the next 2. John Axford's out, down in AA. We take the series against Cleveland, though. 2 out of 3. Not bad. So, from this point on, we are good to scout whomever the hell we damn well please, which is pretty nice. How many 80 pitchers do we have? Quite a few, but not that many more. So we'll take a look at Parra. We'll take a look at Griffin, even though he's older, just to kind of get clarification. Sanchez, we'll avoid him. Barden, we'll take a look at. And Felix Cruz. Let's get all of the high-end starting pitching out of the way early. We do take game 1 against Houston, so we're up 19-12. By the way, I suppose in terms of our ranks, nearly dead last in speed and defense, 3rd in contact, 11th in power, and 7th in pitching. So that's still our big downside. It's something that I wanted to address. It just didn't kind of happen that way. is our lack of speed in this lineup. And it was a factor in the postseason and could be a factor yet again. Again, not having the option, not having those steal threats in the playoffs definitely limited us this past postseason, and could have been the difference maker against the Red Sox, as Louis Bichette is out for 1 to 2 months, and Chad Kuhl is nearly back. We're almost done here. Let's take a look at Cooper, take a look at Gomez, Taylor Dodson, and I want a little bit more info on Macaulay. So let's see, another 2 days. Let's actually go fix that on our own. Oh, Grayson Long did well. Good for him. So Chad Kuhl is back. Biagiani's been okay. We are still going to look to send him down, though. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So Howell goes down to double. And Schaefer goes back down to single. I think they both have 2 injuries, though, so that's been a factor there as to why they're both not at the 25-man roster spot. Again, further scouting. Scott Minton, let's take a look at him. Ellis McCann, no thank you. Babe Handy. Good old Babe Handy. God, the names in this game are tremendous. And Israel Rivas is the last guy we got to look at for an 80 before we start focusing on position players. A month out from the draft now at this point. Tony Sipp goes down to injury. You know what? I think what I'm going to do, it's a little bit of a risk. I am going to give the game full roster control right now. And I'm very tempted to look at the lineup, but I won't. I will avoid that temptation. So let's see. Sanchez again. Don't need to worry about him. Don't need to worry about McCann. Let's not get further info on Para for the moment. Relievers. We'll take a look at Tejada. Good old Wendell Wang. Got to look at a player with a name like that. Almanzar and Lopez. We'll just take a look at, again, all of the 80s just to try and get clarification. We win the first 2 games against Detroit. Not a bad way to start. And they all dropped. Right. Closers, there's only one to look at, that being Jose Jimenez. We already know that there are some solid closers in this draft. Catcher, just Matt Feliz. First base, Mike Goetz. Yeah, I'm great with names. Nick Nelson, 4 years away. I'm going to double check what's going on with him. And at second, no 80s. At third, Edgar Prado. Let's take a look there. We take the series against Detroit and start off the series with the Yankees with the loss. Unfortunate. So let's take a look here. Feliz. Both first basemen dropped by a significant margin. Johnny Creech. What is with these names? I adore them all. Johnny Creech. And at shortstop, Alberto Guerra. So Ballard, of course, will be the one guy who stays with pitching. And he'll get a full report on Para. Let's go another 2 days. We lose the first 2 to New York. Thankfully, we avoid the sweep, so we're at 25-17 now on the season. 23 days out from the draft. I'm feeling somewhat optimistic about it. I mean, obviously we don't have a full report on a lot of players, and that could hurt. But we do still have time to sort this out. And it looks like it could be a really good draft for shortstops. Let's go another 2 days. Although I don't think I had to keep him on Para. That may have been a mistake with Ballard. Let's just take a look here. So 75, have you look at Rodriguez. We get nobody at first, nobody at second. Creech could be half decent. And then at shortstop, Arabu, hell of a name. Dave Edmonds, no thank you. Jason Rankin. And Eric Batista, he's 23 and he's 3 years away. I'm going to say no to wasting my time with you. Tim Reyes, we might come back to. Matt Frederick in left. Let's see if we can get a game changer there. We take both games against the Mets. So that's pretty sweet. Good way to start. 27-17 now on the year. I'm feeling good about what this team's looking like at this point. Arabu we'll still look at. And he is the only one. Batista and Edmonds aren't worth it. Ship can take a look again. 4+ years away at 22. No thank you. We'll take a look at Morales. We'll take a look at Ashton. And then pitching-wise, do we have any other 75s that are worth looking at? We do. Rob all Swede. Tremendous. First 2 games here against Baltimore, we lose Darryl Bryan down in AAA for a month or 2. So there goes our ideal call-up in case of injury to an outfielder. Let's go back. So we have full reports now on Arabu. Ferris is good. In left, Holman's not worth looking at. Michael Ashton, though, I want a full report there. I want a full report on Henry Ortiz. And in right, more Shobshak, not quite worth it. So let's continue to look at outfielders for these guys. Maybe? I'm tempted to go for pitching. There's still quite a few 75s left. There's a lot of 75s left. More than what Ballard could handle. Let's take a look, though. So a catcher, Travis Mann, is instantly worth looking at. We are 17 days out. We take the series against Baltimore and start off the series against Minnesota with a win. So we are continuing to pick up wins. Very promising. Mann dropped off. We'll take a look at Stephen Doty, Ben Mesa, and Leroy Skaggs. And pitching-wise, again, not worth it, not worth it. Dwayne Lowe, we might as well take a look. Next 2 games against Minnesota, it's a 4-game series, and we are 3 for 3 so far. We're catching our stride. We are winning a lot of ball games, and that is obviously quite helpful. We'll continue to scout Dwayne Lowe. Catching-wise, nobody stayed at a 75, so we'll back out of that. 21 and 4+ years away. 19 and 4+ years away we'll look at with Torres. At second, Randy Ellis. And at third, we'll take a look at Hernandez. Another 2 days. We just completed a 4-game sweep of the Twins, who were above 500. That is an accomplishment, although we do lose Tulo for a couple of weeks, and Jose Calero down in AA is also down with injury. I'm feeling good right now. Our team's doing well. I'm feeling great about the draft. Things are looking okay. I want to get a full report on Torres, with him staying at a 75. Let's look over here. I want to get a full report on Greenwood. And I want to get a full report on Abe Costello, because his name is Abe Costello. As we lose 2 out of 3 to the Yankees, which I'm not really surprised by, given some of the injuries. Let's go scouting again. And let's see. So Torres stayed at the 75. That could be a promising player for us in the draft. Greenwood and Costello both dropped. Let's take a look. Tim Reyes, I want a full report. Jason Rankin. And that is it there. Left field. Let's take a look at Gary King. And then pitching-wise, I'm going to continue to focus on starters. Let's go and get that full report on McCauley. 9 days out now from the draft, and 11-2 wins. 11-2 win over the Marlins. 2 wins in general after losing that series to the Yankees, which was our first series loss since we played the Yankees earlier in the month. So go figure. We are continuing to struggle against New York, I suppose to the surprise of nobody. At least it doesn't surprise me. Let's get that full report on King. Coleman's not worth it. At center, Henry Ortiz could be something. And so could Juan Uribe. And then as far as starters go, McCauley is half decent. Let's take a look at Blake Son. 7 days out from the draft. Now we complete the sweep of Miami, but do lose to Boston. So we are continuing to struggle, of course, with our biggest division rivals. Let's see here. At left, we're good. At center, Lou Sharp. Let's scout him out. Get a full report. Actually, not a full report on Uribe. He dropped off. At right, Edwin Bradley and Diego Bruno. Both worth looking at. And then we're going to go all out on pitching for the rest of this, as we have lost 3 straight games to Boston, including an 11-0 drubbing, which really we're close to them in terms of a record, but it's not great now, is it? As everybody fell off there, unfortunately. So let's look for starters. We're going all out. 75, 22, no thank you. 20 years old, we'll scout you. We'll scout out Alberto Casilla. He's 2 years away. At 23, never mind, no we won't. Taylor Dodson. Anybody else? Babe Handy. He's 21. He's 3 years away. Damn it, Babe. I'm going to get a full... It's Babe Handy. I mean, come on. If there's anybody worth wasting time on, is it not Babe Handy? That's what I thought. as holy injury. My God. So we have one more scouting session to go before the draft. We are here, basically. Maybe should have put a little bit more time into relievers, or we actually could right now. Starters, we kind of know what's going on. Let's do one last ditch effort into relievers here. Lloyd Irving, Clayton Gunn, because that's an amazing name for a reliever, Sam Seddon, and Bruce Armas. Is there anybody who's worth passing up on to look at Trevino? Not really. All right, so we'll take a look at those guys. We'll sim the first game against Washington. Last game before the draft. Let's get a quick update on what's going on around the league. So we are currently a game and a half back of the Red Sox in the AL East. They're the first-ranked team. Of course, we know that doesn't always translate to direct success, but still, we're doing well. Obviously, the Red Sox and the Yankees are killing it. So to be 6 games, really 5.5, above the, not even 5.5, 4.5, above the Yankees, that's good. That's solid. I like where we are right now in the league on 38 wins. There are only 2 teams with a better record. We're also tied with the Angels. So only the Red Sox and the Dodgers have a better record than us at this point in the season. And in terms of league leaders, let's take a look here. I know that we had one for pitching with Sanchez there. Not up there for hits. Doubles, triples, home runs? Anybody up there? No. What about RBIs? Also no. Stolen bases? Definitely not. Let's take a look. On-base percentage for the hell of it? Nobody up there. Pitching wins, though, Aaron Sanchez. He's hurt, but he's tied for second with 8 wins. And Lamet's up there with 7. He's on a bit of a cold streak right now, but he's not doing too badly. And Brad Hand has been made our closer, and he has 24 saves on the season. Tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. Now let's take a look here. Team rankings. Where are we in batting average? I was going to say 9th because I'm so used to us being the Mets. Where are we, actually? 15th. All right. Nobody batting over 300. Home run-wise, where are we? Probably quite low due to our power game. Tied for 18th. And RBIs for the hell of it, just to see. Tied for 20th. So the fact that we're tied for 20th in RBI, but you know, we're struggling that much is ridiculous. I didn't take a look at the top prospects list. That is something I forgot to do, and I'm sorry for that. We have the #1 prospect in baseball, Bo Bichette. Thank God I didn't trade him. A couple of teams came asking, and I shut them down, and for good reason. Austin Meadows is 17th. Just trying to make sure I didn't forget anything. Again, I didn't originally plan on kind of handling the intro to this video as I did. It certainly made sense, though. Diego Liriano at 35. And that's probably it. No, Henry Murillo, who we just acquired, is 47th. So not bad. The system is looking better. Awards for the hell of it. Not awards. Player of the month. Player of the month. April, Brad Hand. Not bad. And Vlad Jr. was rookie of the month. In May, nobody there. So not too bad so far. Disabled us, of course, we're dealing with some injuries. All-star voting for the hell of it. Aaron Sanchez right now 3rd in voting, which is very promising. For relievers, Michael Givens is kind of hanging in there. But for closers, Brad Hand is up there. #1 by a mile. So that is tremendous. Catching-wise, Francisco Maya, he's trailing by a little bit more than you'd really like to see. But he's up there, at least. At first, Justin Smoke again, trailing by a significant amount. Nobody at second. At third, Josh Donaldson. I mean, regular season last year, he did extremely well, too, so I'm not really surprised. He collapsed in the playoffs, however. Vlad Jr. at the bottom of the list, by the way. Shortstop-wise, of course, didn't expect to see anybody there. And left, Peralta is 3rd in voting. In center, no shout there. And in right, also no shout there. But there you go. That is basically everything. Without us looking at the rotation, where Stroman, 4.63 ERA and a 4-6 record. Not too happy about that, really. Henderson Alvarez, 5-2 with a 3.10 ERA. I'm much happier about that. Dinelson Lamet, 7-4 with a 3.82 ERA. That's okay, especially for someone who didn't pitch last year. That was a big risk to get him. Chad Kuhl is 3-3 with a 4.65. Have I given him enough of a chance now this season? And Michael Yanoa is also struggling. So, Cool and Yanoa, both not exactly working out. Stroman's disappointed, and Sanchez have been pretty solid. Bullpen-wise, 1.5 whip for Rosenthal, tad bit high. Michael Gibbons has been amazing. Hendricks has been okay. Rivera's been a little bit disappointing, only slightly. Doolittle's been great. Brad Hand's been great. So overall, I mean, the bullpen's working. Starting pitching, though, certainly needs a change. And, of course, we have the tools to go out and make whatever changes we need to make pitching-wise. Josh Harrison, good Lord. That has not worked out, huh? 131 at-bats, batting 183. We might need to reconsider his spot on this team. I mean, then again, he has a pretty hefty contract, but we can afford it. But yikes. David Peralta, 12, 34, and a 285 average, not bad. DJ LeMahieu, very short on RBIs, to be honest. The average is solid. Justin Smoke's been good. Polanco's been okay. Vlad Jr.'s hitting 303 with 201 at-bats. Never mind, we do have someone batting over 303. It's Vlad frickin' Jr. Randall, 214 average. Not sure how I feel about that. Tulo, down to a 222. And Maya at a 257. Pierce has been okay as a pinch hitter. Lino, Morales has been great. And Solarte's been pretty good. So, I mean, couple of question marks. Tulo, 10 home runs, 20 RBIs, but that 222 average. Grichuk and Josh Harrison. I'll leave that up to you guys, though. Let me know what you think about the pitchers that we kind of targeted. The pitchers that we targeted as underperforming, and the players in the lineup that we targeted as underperforming. Let me know what you think as far as what changes we could make. If you've never watched a series of mine, I mentioned this. I'm trying to remember what I mentioned while I was recording that, because originally the whole, hey, here's the trade, here's a trade, here's a trade, and me just explaining what happened. Again, originally that was 50 minutes worth of content that I decided to cut down. I'm trying to remember what I mentioned. And I don't know. Let's move on. Let's move on. It's draft time. I'm intrigued to see what you guys think as far as what moves we could potentially make. But wheeling and dealing, that's what I was going to say, is that wheeling and dealing has always been a part of my series and will more than likely continue to be. But for now, let's see what we can do here. The 19th pick, and keep in mind, we will have compensation. One pick between the second and third. I believe that's all we picked up. So, unfortunately, Donaldson wasn't that kind to me with the compensation. But, hey, an extra pick is an extra pick, and we didn't have to pay him a boatload of money just to collapse in the playoffs again. Who do we have available here? Felix Casto. It's looking pretty good, actually. Velocity control's a bit low. Good break, though. He could be worth it. He's 22. He's 3 years away. Brian Arabu out of Texas. Not that great, admittedly. Taylor Dodson, decent stamina. He's okay, probably not 19th pick worthy. Barden's 2 years away at 23, and I'd need those stats to, really win me over. They don't. He's good, but he's not worth the risk. Andreas Vasquez, I don't know if I can trust those 80s. I don't think I can. That is too good to be true without it being a full report. He's my favorite right now, but we'll see what else we're looking at. Montanez, great stamina. Overall, he's looking okay. The low injury risk helps too. But still hasn't won me over yet. Tom Mills. The walks are a bit low. The control is low as well. I'm going to say no to him. Alberto Guerra. Also, not quite. High injury risk as well. No, thank you. And from there, it already drops down to a 75, which isn't a deal breaker, but is a little bit unfortunate. Israel Rivas, definitely not. Freddie McCauley. Stamina's good. Hits are a bit low. Ks are a bit low. Walks are a bit low, though. Absolutely not. R.D. London. Tremendous name. Not quite. Man, we might be taking a risk on a yellow bar player. Prado, not worth it. From there, it drops down to a 75. Jesus. Is there anybody with a 70? That might be worth it. Jerome German. Not really. Man, I was feeling good about this draft. Now I'm not so sure. Almanzar, that's probably way too inaccurate. Greenwood? Absolutely not for a 19th pick. What about Abe Castellano? The contact's promising. He would be a great pickup for the second round with that promising contact. I don't think I can risk it here, though. So let's see. I mean, who won me over as an instant game changer? The answer is pretty much nobody. I mean, Casto's 22 and 2 years away. 3 years away, actually, so no thank you. Brian Arabu, not the best bat. The power is okay. The vision and discipline's a bit low. He's not terrible, though. 6'5" shortstop as well, which is ridiculous. Taylor Dodson didn't really win me over. Not a fan. Barden, again, 3 years away at 23, so no thank you. Vasquez was one of the real interesting ones, but can you trust that yellow bar? I don't know if you can. Montanez, honestly, Montanez is looking pretty solid. Montanez was looking pretty solid, especially compared to Dodson, who was the first big pitching option. I mean, Montanez, the weakest stats, a 60. At least in terms of max potential. Tom Mills, it's way too weak. Guerra as well, high injury risk, so absolutely not. And then you drop down to someone like Freddie McCauley. Just no. R.D. London, absolutely not. So really, I'd say it comes down to more of a project shortstop in Arabu, or it comes down to Leandro Montanez. And I'm going to go for Montanez, particularly because of the low injury risk. So, current versus projected. To be honest, I'm not sure what the hell hitting square is doing here. But I'm interested. Montanez is the pick. I don't have the utmost confidence in it. We'll see if Arabu turns out to be the better pick. But Montanez is going to be the guy. And then from here, I know that Arabu was off the board. Again, not that interested in Dodson. Again, lowest attributes at 55. Casto, no thank you. Mills, no thank you. R.D. London could work. London could work, or Dodson. What about McCauley? Probably pass on McCauley. Maybe. I don't know. It's really close between a lot of these starting pitchers. Honestly, Rivas isn't terrible, but you can't trust the report. And from there, like I said, it really drops off. Almanzar, if you could trust the report, would be tremendous. Abe Castellano, might be worth taking him here. Although, wow, Juan Uribe doesn't look too bad either. Looks well-rounded. Good speed and stealing as well. Uribe could be the guy. And great contact as well for Lewis Sharp. Wow. So between Castellano, Uribe, and Sharp, we have some options. And even someone like Allsweed, he's a bit more of a project than the other pitchers. We have that extra pick coming up as well. What about good old Babe Handy? I mean, he's 4+ years away, so no thank you. Allsweed Cruz is 4+ years away. Don't have a full report on him, though. Looking mainly at green bars right now. Above all else, I want to make sure that full report's there. Diego Bruno. Again, great contact, vision, and discipline. There are some tremendous outfielders here. We have Jerome as a closer. Also looks great. Jerome German, or German perhaps. He's from Pennsylvania, so who knows. Is a tremendous option as well. Then you have someone like Leroy Skaggs. So we have some great pitching options, we have some great outfielding options, and we have an amazing closer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go for the amazing closer, just to make sure that we get him. We've taken a starter. Let's go for the closer. I'll look for an outfielder next, and then we'll look for another starting pitcher. So Jerome German is our next pick here. It's a little bit risky, and I'm sure we'll miss out on an outfielder or two. Skaggs is also off the board. So we missed out on Snowden, Diego Bruno, and Lewis Sharp, but I believe one of the outfielders I was looking at is still there. And he is. It's Uribe. So I had a feeling, or Uribe, I had a feeling at least one would be left. I'm cool with this. I don't consider this us getting the weakest of the three. That might be the case, but we do get an amazing closer as well. So Juan Uribe, former White Sox, at least of the namesake, is on this team. Beautiful. And now we'll look for another starter, because there should be one. Vasquez is still there, which is very intriguing to me. Otherwise, I mean, because we just have to sit here and look at, middle of the road accuracy. I mean, right there, lowest stat of a 65, at least projected. He could be incredible. I mean, I'd trust that. I mean, looking at someone like Mike Cooper, lowest stat of a 60 for Cooper. Let's see. What about Minton? Absolutely not. And how much further does it drop off? Aviles? Absolutely not. So, Vasquez or Cooper. And I mean, I'd take the risk with Vasquez, for sure. I'm thinking that's the way to go. Is there anybody else that can help change my mind, or is everybody else just a guess? Pedro Morales, former WWF champion. And Edwin Bradley. Might be worth taking later, isn't worth taking now. Let's go for another starter. And let's take the risk on Andreas Vasquez with this pick. You know, I was feeling confident, then I wasn't. But now I'm feeling good again. I have a really good feeling about these 4 picks. Like I said, I like how spread out they are as well. And let's take a look here. So we have Sloan, Cruz, and Rivas that I'd consider for starters at this point. And is there, here, let's actually sort by the accuracy. So these are the players that we have information on. So let's take a look. Edwin Bradley. Decent contact, but obviously just kind of an average outfielder. Aviles as a pitcher. Lowest stats, couple of 55s. Rodriguez. Looks good. Lowest stats of 55. Better age and ETA than Aviles. Griffin, absolutely not. Felix Cruz, absolutely not. Sloan, absolutely not. And Rivas with a couple of 60s. Santiago, not ideal anyway, 21 and 4 plus years away. So Santiago has a couple of 55s. It was Rodriguez. Was one, yeah, it's going to be Rodriguez. I'd like to end up with Bradley just because everybody else is a pitcher. I'm going to go for Guillermo Rodriguez here. He's the best option. If Bradley's still available, which he is not, I just saw him go off the board, we would have taken him next, which means from this point on, it is best guess. But I feel like we got the best player available there. We have 2 picks left in this draft. Let's see who we can get. We have 2 pitchers left, which, I mean, really, Rivas was someone else I was looking at. I don't really trust the bar, but it could work. I mean, Rivas, you know, I don't really want to take another starter, but he's worth going for, I'd say. He's nothing too special, but at least there's no, 50s. And then from there, I mean, it's a complete guess otherwise, right? So if we sort this by potential, it still doesn't look that good. If we sort it by ETA, actually, let's sort it by age. So you have Cordero, which again, you can't trust any of the stats. It's just more to make sure that they don't have any injuries. 2 18-year-olds, both relievers. You have this catcher, Jose Salas. Average injury risk. You have Ricky Suggs, who can play left and right. Third baseman, Jeff Torres, low injury risk, no secondary positions. Kevin McGrath, low injury risk, can play first, left, and center. Oh, who the hell do we take the risk on? If we look for a 19-year-old and perhaps a pitcher, Roberto Beltran, no secondary positions, average injury risk. I kind of like Kevin McGrath. I mean, Torres might not be terrible. Suggs. I'm going to take Rivas. If McGrath's off the board, I'm going for one of the 2 relievers. So I'm taking Israel Rivas. Will McGrath go off the board is my question. Jack Obama, by the way, just went to the Angels. Is McGrath still on the board? He is. So I'm going to take the risk. Why not? It's a shot in the dark pick for Kevin McGrath, the first baseman. Maybe we should have gone with one of the relievers. We didn't, and that is the draft over with. So what I'm going to do, same thing I always do, I am going to take a look at our team, and then we'll scroll through everybody else. So if you're not interested in that part, hey, thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. Let's see what happened, and overall, I'm okay with it. Kind of. All right, let's start off one by one. So Leandro Montanez, 20 years old, 67 overall, B potential. That's a really good pick for where we were drafting in the first round. that is a really good pick, and obviously we will be signing him. So Montana is welcome to the team. That's solid. I'm happy with that. Jerome German, 19 years old, a 69 overall, which is, of course, quite nice, and still a B potential. Good with that, too. So we absolutely hit there on both starter and closer with Montanez and German, or German. So I'm quite happy with that. Both are B potential. Both are high 60s. That's good. From there, Uribe isn't quite what I wanted him to be. He's a 65 overall at 18 years old, which is solid. I'm very happy about him being a 65 at such a young age, but he's only a C potential. However, fast as hell and mutton chops, so he's a winner. There's our pinch running option in the future. Juan Uribe could win us a World Series with his base running. He's going to be signed, of course. I'm happy with that. For a third-round pick, he's at least going to have some use for us. However, from there, and I cannot believe he fell to the 4th round. Oh my God. Imagine if I missed out on him when I could have taken him in the 3rd. But I wanted to end up with a position player. This is normally the type of player that I miss out on because of that. It's like, well, I don't want to take too many starters, which of course I ended up taking. I wanted to get an outfielder. That worked out in a way. Andreas Vasquez, B potential, 70 overall at 20 years old. He's incredible. Montanez, German, and Vasquez, we hit on all 3 of them. All B potential. I mean, 2 high 60s and a 70 at 20 years old. That is incredible. So if we needed some depth for our pitching staff, we got it. Didn't continue the trend with Guillermo Rodriguez, unfortunately. He is a D potential, 20 years old, a 63. Probably not going to sign him. I mean, he is the type of player who, can take up a roster spot, I guess. I don't know, I probably won't sign him. There's a chance I could sign him as a free agent, but we're not going to sign him for now. However, what's the overall on Israel Rivas? Because I am pumped. 65. God damn it, yes! So this was a tremendous draft for us pitching-wise. Montanez, German, Vasquez, and Rivas are all amazing. 60, again, nobody lower than a 65 for 19 and 20-year-olds. That is ridiculous, and I'm so happy with that. Kevin McGrath, 19 years old, the D potential, 64 overall. Not a bad bat, but he's not going to develop much beyond that. So again, we won't sign him. Rodriguez and McGrath were guesses. Rivas and Vasquez were guesses. We were 2 for 4, and I'll take it. So overall, if you wanted to see how we did, the answer, for me at least, is pretty damn well. We will take a look around the league as I take a swig of Arnold Palmer. We will take a look around the league to see how everybody else did in comparison, but I have a feeling we had one of the better drafts. So let's take a look. Chicago, again, I'm only going to focus on B potential guys. They get Philip Mathis. Case in point, he's 19, 52 overall though. 92 A potential, so he'll develop faster, but he has 13 points to go just to catch Rivas. And they're the same age. I'm happy with Rivas, for sure. The C potential guys, any high overalls? Mike Cooper's pretty good for a C potential player. Mike Cooper's pretty good for a C potential player, but mainly it's just Mathis and Cooper for Chicago. Cleveland gets Brian Arabu. Again, glad we passed. 19 years old, only at 56. He's got a long way to go. Those extra, you can't overlook those extra 9 points that someone like a Rivas starts with. Or, I mean, Montanez being a 67. So I'm extremely happy with that. From there, high C potential with Brian Nix. 21 years old and 69. That's not terrible. But look at how bad of a draft that is for Cleveland. 4 D potential guys, even if one's a 70. Yeah, at best, I mean, he might be a bench player for them. But overall, kind of a rough draft for Cleveland, in my opinion at least. Detroit gets Chris Pinto. He's great. 19 years old, 67 overall, A potential. He's amazing. From there, though, it really drops off for C potential guys. Mazzo and Driscoll aren't terrible, I suppose. Better than who we ended up with for the most part in those lower rounds. But again, I'll leave it up to you. My opinion, not the best draft for Detroit, but they get Pinto, who's great. Kansas City gets Austin Perry. You know what I'm going to say. Look at his age, look at his overall. I don't care what the potential is, age and overall. He's got a long way to go. 20 overall points before he's even close to being Major League ready. How long is it going to take him to get there? That's the question. Tim Reyes, way too low of an overall. Low overall. Felix Castro's okay. I mean, 65 though, as opposed to being 19 or 20. He's 22, so, best of luck with that. Lester Martin's great, though. 21 years old and 70 overall, 88 potential. So, Martin, Casto, And Austin Perry, I mean, they at least have some movable pieces. I'd say, if anything, Martin was their best pick. Minnesota, one-player draft for them. It's Manuel Torres, and he's a 42. So good luck with that. And Turley's not that great either. So maybe I didn't have the best draft. We certainly did better than Minnesota. The Angels get no B potential players. Hampton's okay for a C potential. I'm going to stop looking at C potentials, to be honest. At this point, like I said, because I, recorded the 53 minutes, I'm almost at 2 hours here of straight talking. It was around the 40-minute mark that I'm like, yeah, I'm going to stop talking and just jump cut all of this. So the voice is starting to give out. So let's breeze through. Stephen Yang, he's 66 overall, but 22 years old. That's pretty rough, but he should still make it with that A potential. Freddie McCauley's okay. If you're going to have a 52 overall, at least be 18 years old. And that was it as far as B potential players. The Mariners get nobody up until Ken Franklin, who is a steal and a half. He must have been a 6th-round pick. 19 years old, 72 overall. We had a chance to take him. We didn't have much info on him. I didn't, and I regret it. Ken Franklin would have made this an all-time draft for us had we picked him up. 19 years old, 72 overall, 89 potential. A tremendous steal for the Mariners that everyone in the league is going to regret not taking. Texas gets 1B potential or higher. That is Steve Mota. Again, if you're going to be a 60 overall, at least be younger. He's 18, 94 potential. That's a tremendous pick for them. Pretty sure they were near the top of the board. Houston gets Johnny Creech. You know what I'm going to say. Miguel Dorta. You know what I'm going to say. And Tommy Pena. You know what I'm going to say. That's a rough draft for them. Atlanta gets Matt Feliz. Again, you know what I'm going to say. Alan Ferris. Low overall. Tom Mills, better though for a 19-year-old, up to a 58. So, not terrible for the Marlins. The Nationals get Barden. Look at the age, look at the overall. Nah. Martin Snowden. Nah, not that great. Abe Castellano. Nah. He's okay. 52 is a bit low for a 19-year-old. And Felix Cruz, 62. He's okay. So just kind of meh for Washington. The Mets get Taylor Dodson, who I'm going to kind of regret not getting, but we did get the amazing closer out of it. 18 years old, 64 overall, 87 potential. That's a great pickup. No doubt. The Phillies get Jose Gomez. He's an overager, but he's a 72 overall with A potential, so that's a good pickup. And R.D. London's okay. He's got a bit of a way to go. Great at bunting for some reason. The Cubs get Alberto Guerra. You know what I'm going to say. And Scott Minton. Lower overall, but not terrible. Cincinnati gets Lewis Skelton. It speaks for itself. Milwaukee gets Michael Ashton, 18 years old, but he's 51, but he's 18, so that's okay. That's their only B potential or higher. Pittsburgh gets Nick Nelson. What do you think I'm going to say? St. Louis gets Luke Lavallo. What do you think I have to say? A lot of these speak for themselves. Like I said, that's why I kind of dragged out the first kind of recap. As far as what I view as a half-decent player, Jamie, it's probably Jaime, who knows, Jaime Santiago from the great state of Michigan. 65 overall solid, but he's 21, so, let's see, Jay Schmidt, nothing to say. However, they got another 89 potential at the end of the draft, low overall, though, in Marmolejo. Colorado gets Henry Ortiz. Not bad. Great speed, so at the very least will be a bench player, a pinch running option for them. Jerome Otto, that's pretty much all I got to say about that. The Dodgers get Johnny Bromberg. He's okay. They also get Coleman Sloan, who is okay. Low overall. Padres get Junior Nunez. 65 overall, but he was 22. I don't know, I feel like that's a little bit low. He might make it, though. Same for Pedro Morales. We'll see if either of them make it. The Giants get Ryan Dykes. Solid pickup, though. 71 overall at 21 years old. Good vision and contact. He's a future major leaguer. And the Orioles get Benny Asuncion. Benny. Benny and the terrible Orioles. Great player, though. 18 years old, 71 overall, 93 potential. Boston gets nobody outside of Dwayne Goodwin, who is terrible. The Yankees had a great draft last year, not so much this year, including Lou Sharp. Not that great for C potential. Tampa gets Leslie Murray. Great player, obviously. 75 overall, 21 years old with the A potential. Adrian Gomez, no. And that brings us back to us. So ask yourself, top to bottom, did we have one of the better drafts in the league? I would say yes, but maybe I'm just biased. That'll do it for this one. Thank you guys for hanging around. In the next episode, we sim through the rest of the season. Let me know what you think lineup-wise. Do we give some players a little bit more time, or do we look to make some major moves now? Let me know. As always, thank you for watching. You know what to do. You know what YouTubers tell you. I'm one, apparently. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and all the fun stuff. Click that notification bell. Ring it like your life depends on it. Just kidding. Only click it once, because otherwise you might end up passing out from overexerting yourself, and who knows, it might wind up on you not wanting notifications, and we can't have that, especially with how terrible YouTube is about letting people know when videos are live, and especially when I have uploaded videos incredibly late on the East Coast in the past. Thank you for watching. Twitter and Twitch in the description. I love you all, and until next time, have a good one. Take it easy. Double entendre. That's not a double entendre. Goodbye is what I'm saying. Goodbye.